Hey guys, it is Amy with Crafts by Amy, and we are going to work on my Made in the 80s journal. If you watched yesterday, I did show that I ended up taking the whole thing apart because it was falling apart because I didn't have it correctly put together or put together the way I like so that it wouldn't fall apart. So I am about to reprint this cover image and we're going to recover the whole thing. So find the cover. I do 12 by 8, 24, so I'm going to print that out really fast. Well, not really fast, but, you know, for a tray. Make sure it hooks in, because sometimes the paper has issues. I don't want to say attaching, but the roller has issues sometimes with detecting it and getting it to the printer, so we will see what happens. Okay. I don't think it is getting it. I don't think it's okay. I've got it to where it's in the printer. So I am back. Hey, Miss Julie. My chair keeps sinking. So I'm reprinting my cover. I'm sure y'all can kind of see that from my laptop. It's the same image that I used. And I did find an extra one of the Made in the 80s ones that I'm going to put on the cover. And these were from Hobby Lobby. It's a bunch of different stamps. I was looking to see if they might have anything good in here to put in this journal. And right off the bat, I see a rainbow stamp. So I don't know. These are a heart and a donut. And a flower and a smiley face. These are in the back to school section, so it's basically like for teachers. I think I'll be able to put them in my container with my stamps, but I'm not 100% sure, but we will see. I've got a snake and a dog. A lightning bolt, which is kind of one of the reasons I bought this. I thought the lightning bolt would look cool on my my comic book journal. So the stamps are the color of the cases, and a football. Not sure how the football in red's going to look yet, but then we have a unicorn that is green. And let's see what this is. An orange basketball. Looks like I got that one right. Let's see. We got another smiley face and a cat that's blue. This is a piece of cake that is green and a butterfly that's pink. And a star that is pink. Let's see. A cupcake yellow and a strawberry that's red. A soccer ball that's green and a rocket ship that's blue. A plane that is yellow and a helicopter that's blue. And the last two are some purple stars and rainbow that's purple. So I don't know if I'm going to actually use it in the journal or not, but I figure I might as well take them out of the bag that they were in. And I am going to grab the container. I have a majority of my stamps in. And we're going to see what we can put. Because I'm reprinting out the cover for this journal, we're going to redo this today. So this is a container from Five Below. I got it earlier in the year. So it does have room in this one. Because I can take out these embossing. These are embossing powders. Neither one of them is open. And I don't really keep those in here. I have a container that I have those in, I think. Trying to see if they're in the bottom. No, but I do have other stamps in the bottom. So we're going to open the bottom piece. So I think these were ones I got from Dollar Tree. So I think these were from Valentine's. It's a red heart. So these are not the color of the containers. These are, though. So like the plane is yellow. So this was all stuff that I got from Walmart at Valentine's. So it's like these little keychains with the little tic-tac-toe things. I gave 2 of these to Emmy, so she does have those. These little pens, it was a pack of them. I think I gave them. These are little boxes of stickers, and this one is Lilo, well, it's Stitch and Angel, and this one is Bluey. I am going to try and move the Lilo and Stitch ones. I'm just going to switch them to this side. Of course, that would happen to me. I don't have fingernails to pick them up. Okay. They're all the same as far as I know. I didn't open any of them, but... So I'm going to see if I can stick these in this next container. I know you're not going to be able to see them from the top, but... I can also flip them over if I wanted to, because they will stand up. And luckily this case is clear, so like if I lifted it up, I can see what's on the bottom. So I am going to see if I can... I'm going to take these pens out, see if I could put these over here. See if I can lay these down over here. Or at least somewhat lay them down. I might take these 2 toys out of here, because they don't really need to be in there. They were just in there because they went with all the stuff that was in here. But let's see if I can stick these pens in here now. Like this. And see if I can put the rest of these in here. I don't know that they're going to fit, but I'm going to try. And these little slips do come out, so I could take those out. And do this. Let's see. What? So those are all fit in there. I will put these with the rest of them. I have them in my room because I've taken some out of this other level so that you can see all of the stamps. And then these were all stamps that I had gotten from Five Below. They were sets, and then they came with these ink pads. So they have blue and red and pink and green. So, see these 2 together. Snap them back in place. I might have to put this one in the middle and put that one on the top. I think that's how it was originally. But I thought I'd show you guys those stamps while we were waiting for my cover to finish printing, which it did. So I'm going to move my laptop out of the way because I don't need it anymore. And I'm going to move this stuff. I was going to open this, but I was only going to open it if I had time, and I didn't. So, hey, Miss Carla, we're redoing my cover. It was breaking off, and I didn't like it, so I ripped it apart. So this is the same paper, just another copy of it. And I am going to trim the 2 edges where the white is, and then I'm going to trim it to size because I already know what size I need. Because like I've done these a ton of times now. True, that end, around this end. And this is just, I don't even know where I got this pattern from. It's probably Creative Fabrica. I get a ton of stuff from that website. Okay. So I know I need 17 inches, and I think this is 20, 23 and a half now, because I think each of these was a quarter of an inch. So I cut off a half of an inch off the edge, which means 23 and a half. So I need about 17 inches. So let's see, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So I can cut off about 5 inches, 5.5 inches, 5 3/4 inches. I think 5 3/4, right? But I'm going to do 5.5 just to give myself some extra room just in case. But I do have this extra, so I'm going to keep that. We could use that on a tag or something else. I'm not putting the tops and bottoms off. I do not feel like fooling with a ruler to do that. And my hand has been peeling, even though I didn't get sunburned. It's like right in the middle. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just, I don't know. So this is our paper. These are our front and back covers. And this is our spine, and our spine is not going in right now. Hey, Miss Dawn. So I'm not putting this down because this tape that's on here is still sticky. But I do have the spine. And we are going to attach the spine to the covers with, thanks, Miss Carla, this paper. And apparently there is a word in the middle of it. I don't know how that happened. I must accidentally type something, but I'm cutting this in half anyway. So that is not going to be a big deal. So I need to remeasure the spine because I don't remember what size it is. I'm bad about that. It is 4 inches. So I need to make sure I might have done this really badly. Yeah, I might have done that really badly. Because I need to leave 4 inches plus a little bit extra, and that does not give me a whole lot of, that does not give me a whole lot of room to cover the edges now. I didn't think that through. With the spine being as big as it is. Okay. This is going to be a little tougher than anticipated since I cut that much off. Thankfully, I didn't cut more than enough off. This is going to be a tight squeeze. Yep, this is going to be a tight squeeze with this, you guys. I'm going to make sure I have, oh, it's going to give me enough room to flip it over, so hopefully that's good enough. I am going to use my double-sided tape for this and some glue. I like using the really big one, and I can't get it to rip, so I use my scissors to cut it. Hopefully this will work. I don't have any fingernails because I had to cut all my fingernails off because I was picking at them. I don't know why. I used to chew my nails for no reason, but I don't know why I'm picking at them for no reason right now. Doesn't make any sense. I don't have anything going on in my life that should be stressing me out to where I'm doing that. And we have a disco themed event going on in the group, my group on Monday, which that's going to be fun. At least I think it will be. I wasn't alive during the disco era, but that era seems like it was a ton of fun. I love disco music. It's not going to be a full day like we normally have because not a ton of people signed up, but people that did sign up, I'm sure they're going to make great stuff out of it. That side on that. And since I am redoing this, I can do the cover a little bit better and put I had a patch that I put on the spine of the book on the outside. And I really want to put a dangle on this spine. And so I think I'm going to put the patch on the cover. So I'm either going to put the strawberry shortcake image thing higher, and I say that because strawberry shortcake is the only one you can still see on the image right now, or lower. I'm not really sure. The tag I had on the spine was a star, so I'll just lay the two pieces out and see which way looks better. And we'll just go with whatever looks better. I am going to miter the corners, even though I messed up on them, because I cut off too much of the paper. I am going to use glue. I always use glue on my covers to make sure that they're sturdy, which is why this paper is still on here. So I am grabbing my pokey tool. It helps pull up the backing sheet on the double-sided tape. And yes, these are backwards. This one goes on the side. Actually, no, they're not. This one goes on this side. No, wait. They're... I don't know. It wouldn't really matter which way they're on there because it's just pattern paper. But we are going to glue. I'm gluing and taping. So I'm going to put them close to the edge, like I said, because I need the big space for my spine. I need to get to my trash can. Of course, that didn't go in the trash can. It went on the floor next to the trash can. Hey, Miss Dawn. Yeah, I have only made... I'll have to show you all the dangle that I made for my sewing journal. I'm just flipping this upside down. And I'm eyeballing this, you guys. I'm just pressing it down. Like I said, I am going to miter the corners. And I do need to leave enough room in the middle for my spine. Don't think I have a piece of cardstock that is wide enough. Let me see what size this is. I don't think these are wide enough either. These are 3.75, so they're not wide enough either. Hey, Miss Liz. I am working on recovering my 80s theme journal because the cover was ripping off around the spine. This is 4.5. I am just going to trim 1/2 of an inch off of it with my little paper trimmer. If it'll fit, it's not going to fit in this one. I will grab the other one. As it was falling apart, I needed to fix it. So let's see. Let's do this. I'm just going to use this as my spine separator thing. I'm not saving that little bitty piece. That is not worth it to me. So I'm going to use this as a spacer. I know I need extra space besides the spine so that I can open and close it. So I want to make sure I leave that space. So I probably could have left it, but I don't think I wanted an extra 1/2 of an inch. I think 1/4 of an inch is good enough. So I think that's going to be good. And I was going to put glue on this and I didn't. I am going to use glue for the edges though, so that is not... I am going to use glue for that. So we are fixing this journal. Tamara had suggested using tape to just like help support the spine, but the paper was ripping too much for me to do that. So I just redid the whole thing. It wasn't that difficult to pull the whole thing apart and just redo it. For me. Not saying other people wouldn't have done what she suggested, but I didn't. So, yeah, that's not smart, Amy. You really need to put the ruler there so you know they wind off the top. Okay. I want to make sure that they're not off. But let's see. I think that should be enough room on either side of the... Okay, well, this thing is crooked because of the tape. Oh well, if it's crooked, it's crooked. I can't help that anymore. The tape is down. I don't think you're really going to notice it. So, and I still need to reprint or redo or figure out what I'm going to use as the paper to cover the inside now that we've redone the cover. See, when I did it the first time, I didn't trim any of this. I just mitered the corners. So I'm just going to grab my little cutting mat. I don't need my big one for this to do these corners. I usually use my rotary cutter, but measure for the spine allowance, yeah. So I know I have enough room for the spine. It's the, I'm just not sure if the top and bottom are correct, but yeah, whatever. It is what it is now, so. I usually, like I said, use a rotary cutter, but I'm just going to use my craft knife because it works just as well when doing this kind of stuff. And this is part of a kit that I have. It does have the spacers for the spine, but I do not feel like taking all of that stuff out either. So I've gotten better about being able to tell where things go. So hopefully I'm good with that. So I'm going to see if I can get this out. Oh no! That, well, prayers for you, Miss Liz. Hope everything goes okay. I'm going to see if I can get glue out of this. It may be clogged up because I can't hear it. Nope, it did come out. I was about to stick the tool that I have for unsticking glue, but it didn't. I do have a new tube of this. This is just, I've had this a while, and I kind of want to use it up. It needs some love, though. And by love, I mean it needs some acetone in it to thin it out a little bit. Okay, we're not going to use that one today. It's being a pain in the tuchus. And I don't feel like waiting, so. This is the one that I have. This one's from Hobby Lobby. It was $5.99. It's the only size my store has, and it's the only one my store has. They don't sell Fabric Fix or Fabric Tack that I've ever noticed. So we're going to do these sides. And I'm going to push down really well because I want to make sure that they stay. Since this is us redoing this. I want to make sure it's down all the way. And then it stays in place. Like I said, it doesn't really matter because this pattern is not like a directional thing. So it's not going to matter if this is, I mean, if I had an image on the cover already, but that image was added after the fact. So it's not going to be that big of a deal. And I know Tamara keeps telling us to put our lid back on, put our lid back on. I think that only really works if you start from the beginning, like making sure you keep the lid on. I think once you've already left the lid off a couple times, it's pretty much done for. So yeah, our spine things line up pretty evenly up there. Notice I am not putting the spine in, even though it's already done. And there's kind of a reason for that, because it's covered, and the cover doesn't match this. And so I am coming in with this. I was going to come in with, you know what? I have this stir stick out. I want something that to fold right there, because I want to press this down. I don't want to rip it. That's what was ripping on the original one. Hey, Victoria. The disco era was a great one, Carla. I'm sure it was. Just was not my era. It is a corner miter. That's literally what it's called. It was part of a kit that I got from Temu. They sell them on Amazon too. It's a book binding kit. So you'll notice I did this part first to make sure I could fold it. Now I'm coming back with the bone folder to put that part down. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side, and I'm not wasting all this glue that just oozed out of the tip. Because it does that. Yes, we would love to make sure we get an update, Miss Liz. Oh, and if y'all missed yesterday's event, Melissa from Mello's Messy Craft Corner, I'm sure y'all have seen her, Melissa Torres. She's been in a lot of people's comments. She watches a lot of lives. She just did her first live yesterday. So if you missed that, please go back and watch. She was terribly nervous. And we kept telling her, you have nothing to be nervous about. You're doing great. She had a great craft. She was a fill-in for a fill-in. She was filling in my time spot because I was filling in for Miss Carla, and then Miss Kathy filled in for me when I was filling in for Miss Carla. So it was a big old day of filling in yesterday. But we got the event done, so that's all that mattered. The event got finished. And Melissa's daughter was helping her on her live in the background. Okay. This done. We are going to glue the spine. I am going to put glue on this. Don't worry about this. I need to put that in there. So this is our spine. It has tape on it, double-sided tape, that is still actually sticky. So we are going to use some of this glue, though, because it needs glue. Especially over the parts where I ripped the paper off and the paper stuck. And we're going to use the glue for the other piece of paper too. So as you can see, this is not the same paper. And I am not attaching it correctly. I mean, I'm correct. I am correct. I am putting it in here for me. So we want to make sure we have the spine allowance, which we do. So I'm pressing down on it to make sure it stays. But because I don't have the paper for this yet, and I don't know what I'm going to use on it yet. I am going to cut that piece of paper that I showed at the beginning. That's the same as this. But I think the pattern is a little bit smaller. But I'm going to cut this, and we're going to glue this and attach it to the front cover. Melissa with Mello's Messy Masterpieces. She did a live yesterday, and it was her very first one. So this is 8.5 by 11. So I'm going to cut it down. I'm going to do 4 and 4. That way I can cut that middle piece out for whatever reason. I don't know what that's there for. Hopefully cutting it at 4 and 4 will be fine, because I don't want that showing. 4 inches for that one. 4 inches for this one, and I think we're going to be fine. Yes, we will. Hey, Miss Tammy. Miss Tammy was back crafting with us yesterday for the first time in a while since she moved. So I am going to, I probably should have folded this and put it behind the, I probably should have attached this first here. and folded it underneath and then attached it to this. But I didn't. So I don't know what I'm doing. This is exactly where my book was before when it was not working. So I'm probably just going to trim this down and use it to attach it. And I probably could have just left the page whole and done the whole page here and the whole page here. Like just printed out another copy. Yeah, hindsight. Okay. I am going to trim these down. I'm going to cut off 2 inches off of each of them. And since these are smaller, I can just use this one. I think that's the right size. Yep. I was hoping I wasn't like messing that up completely. And this little paper trimmer is from Hobby Lobby, and I love it. It's perfect like if you're traveling and you want to be able to do stuff while you're on the road. My paper towel back. So I'm going to put glue here. I'm trying to get close to this signature without going over it. And I am putting glue in this crease. And then I'm putting some on the paper. I don't need to get the whole page with it because I can lift it up and do more. But I want to get this part done good and well. So I want to press this down. And then I want to press in the spine. And I think I have one of these that I use for this kind of thing, but I think it's in my box, which is on the floor. And so I don't want to use this part because I don't want it ripping the paper, but I do want it to go into my crease right here. And of course, I just ripped the paper. I just can't win with myself sometimes. I just constantly rip things. I did not want to rip that. Okay. I don't know what's used to do this because I feel like I'm going to keep ripping it. Let's try this other one. So I need it to go into the crease. It has to go into the crease. That's why I need it to go into... No, I don't want it to keep ripping. Please stop ripping. I just need the paper in the crease. Please stop ripping. Yes, I talk to my stuff. I don't want you ripping. I just need you to go into the crease. Now I'm going to have to come back in here with something else to cover up the ripped paper. I don't know why it was doing that, because I left enough room in the crease for the paper. Like, I left more than enough room. Thank you for telling me that, Victoria. I tend to do that. I get stressed out, and yeah, I need that sometimes. Okay. Now this should be easy because it's just pressing paper down. And I don't know what I'm going to put here, but I could trim this down and just put this here. I'll have to find my stickles that you sent me, because I do have that. I put all your stuff in a zipper bag when I did that live, and I have used some of the things out of it, but I've kept all of it in that bag for that reason, so that it's all together. I do have another one of these glues because this one is running low now. found it in a bag because apparently I had bought some when I went to Hobby Lobby and the bag got moved around, and yeah, I have another one of these, thankfully. Okay, just gonna do the glue in the glue in there and do some glue on the edge of this. And paper and line it up as close to this. I don't want to put it on the stitches. That's the only thing I'm trying to avoid with this, is don't put it on the stitches. That was a lot of glue that just came out that end, but I'm good with that. It's not going in the spine the way it would. I don't always want to use this thing, but I really want the paper to go down. That's why I made sure I didn't put a lot of glue on the cover part. It's on the spine and in this crease. Hey, Miss Christie, we are recovering my Made in the 80s journal and ripping this paper, apparently. Well, I'm trying to get it into this crevice. I ripped it on this side. I should have known that was going to happen since it happened on the other side. But I am redoing the cover on this thing because the spine wasn't really attached to the covers very well, and it really was ripping and coming apart. And y'all should see the Jim Henson one. The Jim Henson one looks almost as bad, except it's not coming apart. It's just I used that really thin chipboard, and so it's collapsing on itself. It's not falling apart though, so that's a good thing. Okay. Wiping off my excess glue. Put my lid back on. I think I have about half of an ounce of that. Put these back in here. Make drawer back where it goes. Let's see. So I could, like I said, I could put a piece of this here because I really only need a piece that's about half the size. Or I could print something else. Oh, you didn't know I had a Jim Henson one? Oh, I'll grab it. I'm just going to put this aside to let that dry. I'll grab the Jim Henson one. I almost redid it too because the same thing is driving me nuts, but it's not as bad as this one was. This one was like literally tearing apart. The Jim Henson one is just made out of flimsy or chipboard. So this is my Jim Henson one. It's like the cover is collapsed onto itself, but it's very big. It has a bigger spine than Rainbow Bright Strawberry Shortcake and Care Bears does, because it has, I will open it and show you. It has some stickers on the spine of the TV shows that are in here. So it's Sesame Street, Fraggle Rock, The Muppets, and Muppet Babies. So this is the inside of this one. It has the logos from the shows. And I did put them in here in the order. So Sesame Street was his first show that came out, or first movie / show, depending on how you look at the Muppets. And I've got 2 different ones for that. There's 2 different signatures. And then this is the Muppets. So the Muppet movies and TV shows are in these 2. And then the next one is Fraggle Rock. So I have the Fraggles, the Dozers, I forget what that Junior. Yes, I am probably, I'm gonna fix that. The Dozers. And then the last one is Muppet Babies. And I do have some of the original Muppet Baby one, the biggest journal you've seen. I have the Muppet Baby. So these were the ones from the 80s, but I also have mixed in here the ones from the 2000s, because I watched that show with Emmy. So I watched the original Muppet Babies as a kid, and then I watched Muppet Babies, the new one, with Emmy. She was little when it came out. So I've got all kinds of stuff in here. And it's not even done. That's the bad thing. It's caving in on itself, like, but it's still in really good condition. Like, the whole thing is fine. It's just made out of flimsier chipboard. I thought about reinforcing it, but I'm not really gonna do it because I really do like this one, and it's not falling apart. Like I said, it's just bowing. So thanks, Liz. You love red, Christy. I love. Okay, Wembley is the light one. I think it's. Trying to remember what his name is. The one that says at the end where he goes down in Fraggle Rock. Is that Gobo? Is that his name? I think that's his name. So I will come back and fix the spine. I'm trying to think of what I have paper-wise that I put there. I have that cassette tape paper that I did that I was working on the other day. I haven't finished that card. Oh, this isn't even the right container. Y'all want to sneak peek at something? Since this is out, and I wasn't meaning to grab this, but this wasn't the right bag. But this is a sneak peek to a journal that I printed out last year and haven't done anything with. But I printed the whole thing out. I'll show you my I'll show you the signatures. I'm not going to show y'all all of the other stuff, but these are my signatures that I did for this one journal. So it has 6 signatures, just like the oh no, that one had 8. Which one had 6? I don't know. One of my this is 6 signatures. So it's cartoons throughout the years. So this one is like the 50s, 60s kind of stuff. I loved Mr. Magoo when I was a kid. Jim Backus was the greatest. Mr. Magoo was like the most hysterical thing ever, and I am sad that there's nowhere you can find it streaming except for the Christmas Carol. So I tried to make pages that went with the so I got Woody Woodpecker. I love Chilly Willy. That's my favorite from this show. Oh, well, have fun at Walmart. So pages like that. We've got Popeye. And then Underdog. The original superhero. So that was the first one in this one. And then this one is, I'm sure y'all recognize some of the stuff on here. Bullwinkle. Moose and Squirrel. And then this is Dudley Do-Right. He kind of got knocked off. This is Mr. Peabody and Sherman. This is Fractured Fairy Tales. So we got that one. And then the Pink Panther is kind of cut in half. That is actually on a TV channel on the Roku. I've seen commercials for that. This is Casper, the Friendly Ghost. I didn't even know Casper had a TV show until I was doing this. And then Lulu, Little Lulu. I didn't know the original Little Lulu, but when I was a kid, they had a new show with Tracy Ullman on HBO, and if we had to go across the lake to visit my grandparents, I would rush my parents. I was like, I need to be home to watch Little Lulu, because Little Lulu was hysterical and the best thing ever. So, and this one is more of the 70s. So we've got He-Man, She-Ra, Skeletor. I just watched this movie yesterday and I actually thought it was really good, the live action one. So we've got that. So it's not all 70s, apparently. I put Doug in here. I'm not sure why. I think I was trying to do stuff and I didn't know what I was doing. Inspector Gadget. That's Penny and Brain. Thanks, Miss Dawn. The Ninja Turtles. These were shows that I watched when I was a kid. Garfield and Friends. The Animaniacs. I love that show. And Super Mario Brothers. The TV show. I actually love that show. I watched that. So I'm not sure what I was doing with this split because and Gem and the Holograms were before some of that stuff. And Emmy is now obsessed with this doll. I found the Gem and the Hologram. So my sister and I had Gem. We had the doll that was Rio, which we don't have anymore, and we have Pizzazz. And she is obsessed with playing with Pizzazz. So I've got that. Bobby's World. I don't know how many of y'all remember Howie Mandel's show, Bobby's World. The Chipmunks. That's on this side, but I love the Chipmunks. You cannot watch that anywhere either. The cartoon Dennis the Menace. I love that show. That used to come on in the mornings. Tiny Toon Adventures. Obsessed with that. The Ghostbusters, the real Ghostbusters. I used to watch this before school in the morning when I was in junior high. And of course, you had to have Captain Planet and the Planeteers. And then this last one, this is the Disney Afternoon. This one is Disney. These two were Disney Afternoon. So The Adventures of the Gummy Bears was on Disney Afternoon. Goof Troop was on there. The Wuzzles. I don't know how many of y'all know the Wuzzles. I was obsessed with them. I had Hippopotamus. She was a hippo, and crap, what the hell was she mixed with? No, that's not her. Is that her? Yeah, she's a hippo and a crap, what is their other thing she is? I can't remember, but I do know I had Bumble Bear. She is a bear and no, Butter Bear. She's a butterfly and a bear. And I had Ellaroo, I think. And she's an elephant and a kangaroo. I now have Rhinoki, who is a rhinoceros and a monkey. I got that off at eBay. And Moothel, who is a moose and a squirrel. Like, what is this other thing? And then this is Bumblelion. He's a bumblebee and a lion. I cannot remember what that is. Anyway, I love that show. And then, of course, The Great Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. And then this is the other one. This is the Rescue Rangers with Chip and Dale. Dale is the one that Beth said she portrayed at Disney one year. And then Tailspin. The original DuckTales, which was the best. And I loved Webby. She was so cute. Darkwing Duck. So that was all of these. But I haven't done anything with them. All I did was print them out, have the pages that go on the back, and I folded them. And that's as far as I got with this set. So yeah, I didn't get very far. I cut out all of the pockets and stuff that I did for it, though, because it's all in here. It's this whole thing. That was not what I was trying to grab. I must have put the... Where did I put them? I had them out yesterday. Wasn't that used yesterday? No, that was 2 days ago. But still, I had that stuff out that I was using for this journal. I must have put it back over here. Yes, I did. I'm going to grab it. I did put it back over there. So I do have this, but it's too short, I think. And I don't know that I have any other pages that I printed that's that length. So I might have to get my laptop back up here so we can finish putting together this book. But that's not going to take very long. But this is the paper, but I would rather have something that's the same height as this. Or maybe not. Maybe we don't, I don't know. I don't know. Should I try cutting this and using this to cover this part? Or should I try cutting this and using this to cover this part? Now I'm kind of leaning towards this, even though it's not the same height. It doesn't have to match. And it's my journal. You know what? We're going to do it. We're going to go with it. I don't know what size this is, so I'm going to measure it to see. And we're going to cut it in half. So it is 6.5. So we need, excuse me, 3 3/4. And we don't even need to unfold this because the 3 3/4 is on this side. No, that's not right, you guys. I just almost cut this and it's not right. It was 6 1/2, so it's 3 1/4. That could have been really bad. I'm like, why doesn't that look even? Because it wasn't. That would have been bad. That would have been wasteful. So we are going to just put this here on the inside cover on this side and do the same thing on the back. And I'm trying to decide what I want to use to glue it or tape it or do whatever. I guess I will use this glue. This glue. The Beacon 3-in-1. Yeah, I really like it. And since the tapes and stuff were very popular back when the 80s were around, I think it's perfect. And then I will pull out the made in the 80s image that I had on the cover, so we can put that on this now that it's fixed. And by fixed, I just mean, it's not falling apart anymore. So I'm not putting it all the way to the edge. I am leaving some of that open. Yeah, I probably should have done that before I started pressing on it. I really need to clean this off because it's got a lot of glue on it. So that. Back. Do this one. And I definitely know what I'm doing Monday for my craft because I have the surface that I wanted to use and I didn't lose it. I also have some, yeah, that's what I am using. I had gotten some disco ball beads from the bead department at Hobby Lobby because they were on clearance. And the lady in the checkout behind me was like, oh, what are you going to do with those? And I was like, I have no clue, but I want to have a disco themed event. So she was like, oh, that's so cool. I can never think of things to do with the items that I see on sale. And I'm like, I don't have that issue. I definitely do not have that issue. But I'm not using the disco balls because I found a wood surface that I want to use instead. So I'll just have to wait and see what I got for that. Okay, we've got all of that done. Let's work on the waterfall because the reason it's not in the journal yet is because I didn't do the whole thing right. So it's one of those waterfalls. I am going to keep these. And I have this little bag that I was putting extra pieces in. So I'm just going to add this in here. So I had to get out my sewing journal because my sewing journal has the one like this that moves and is the way it's supposed to be. So I might have to pull that up here so we can see what I need to do to fix this. Because I know I need a piece of paper that's wider than this because you have to have a piece that goes around this whole thing and it glues into this. So I'm going to grab that big journal. It's right here. And I can also show you the tassel that's on it that I made. So the other day I was talking about doing a tassel. Well, this is what I came up with. It's not a lot. It's just some ribbon. I do want to do one with charms and stuff, but I haven't really gotten around to that. So, and I just made a little bow up here to tie it onto my spine with some pink twine that I have sitting out. So that's on there for right now. So let us pull. I don't remember where it is, so we're going to have to go through it. I think this is the right one. So yeah, okay. 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 I see you. I see what you did there. So I do need a piece of paper that is wider than this. You're really not supposed to make it this wide, but it's my journal. It doesn't matter. And I would rather have it wide enough to where this could happen and I don't have to worry about it like not moving. But you put it in the journal and you glue it to your last piece of the waterfall. So you have to make sure your paper that your waterfall is on is long enough. And mine wasn't. This one I don't have to worry about because the pages are longer. So I will be able to use this piece. This one I ended up having to put this extra piece on because it didn't move. So, or wait, how did I do that? Yeah, so okay, so I need to get another piece. That's what I'm figuring out. You have to have a piece that is twice as long as this. So I might use a piece of this. Or something else. I just need to make sure I have a piece because I'm going to show you guys this from the edge. I don't know if y'all can see this, but there's a piece that's this long in the back. That's the part that moves. And so you really need it to be twice as long as this. So with that being said, I should not have done what I did. I could just put it in there and make this a flippy thing. But I did want to kind of make it the kind that you move. So, and you can kind of tell that I already tried to do this and I messed it up. So, this one is not going to be messed up. We are going to fix it. It's supposed to have another piece on the back. So you're supposed to have a piece of paper that's folded in half. That is what this is glued on. So, I didn't do that, obviously. I messed that part up. But that's what you're supposed to have. That's what this part is. So this piece of paper is supposed to be long enough for your whole thing. I think I used a piece of 12 by 12 paper for that, but I still had to add this on because there was no way to reach up to get the end of that. But I actually like how this turned out with the little pull tab at the bottom. So trying to think of what I can do with this. Because you're not going to see this. If I put this on the back, because you can't really see the back page until you do this. You're pulling it out. So if I did it, I would probably put the page in like this so that when I pulled it out, you would be able to see it. And now I'm not sure if I want to leave this where it is or if I want to take it off. Yeah, I like the waterfalls too. I'm not good at them. This is the only one that I've done so far that actually came out the way it was supposed to. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with this one. Because it definitely needs another piece to be able to be the waterfall. Because this is the part you're seeing right here. And there's a whole nother page in the back that you pull down. And that's what's missing from this. That piece is missing from the back of this. And I'm not sure how I would attach that paper to be able to have it move the way I need it to, because I need it to be able to fold to move back. I'm not sure how that would work with that paper. I am going to grab, if I can find it, my pocket thing that I have. So I have this stuff. It's all of my like papers that I haven't used or that I have leftovers of. I think I'm just going to get a solid pink one out or a solid color to put on the back of this instead of using that color, because these are more pastels and that's really bright that I use for the cover of that journal. So I'm going to see what's in here that I have a full sheet of that I could cut up. I could even use my thin chipboard because my thin chipboard is like cardstock. I might actually do that. Let's grab one of those pieces of chipboard. It's really thin chipboard. Oh, on my waterfall? Yeah, it would be nice if I could remember how to do it correctly when I do this. Let me try to get... Of course, I have, like, piled stuff on top of this that I don't need here. I have a ton of these. And this is the chipboard that I use for that Muppet journal. That's why it's caving in on itself, because it's really flimsy stuff. So I am going to do this. So I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to get a piece that I can cut to put on here from that folder that we need to go around it. So it goes around it like that. This piece gets glued on the journal piece, and it glues to this paper. And that's all the gluing you have to do in here. There's no other glue. And I put that on the floor behind me just in case I need it for anything. So I am going to measure this. I think it's 4 inches. Yes, it's 4 inches. And since this is chipboard, I'm going to use my chipboard. This is the one I use for my chipboard because I have a dull blade that I have marked with a Sharpie marker on it to show me that's the one to use with my chipboard. Sometimes it cuts all the way through, sometimes it doesn't. It just depends. I'm sure that there are tutorials. One of the tutorials that I watched to do this, after I went back to go find it, was no longer available. And I was like, really? That's the one I need. I don't really need my heavy duty scissors, but I'm going to cut this. These scissors are thick enough to cut this, you guys. Like, if I hadn't been able to cut through the chipboard enough to actually, like, have it be cut, I'm keeping the other piece of chipboard for something else. And I am not going to cut this. I'm just going to leave it this length because we need to be able to pull this out. So I am going to leave that, and I am going to round the corners. I don't know if I used the 4. I think I used the 4. I used the 4. And I'm rounding all of them because the top of it needed to be, well, the top of it was rounded too, so that's why I'm rounding all of them. So I'm going to attach this up at the top. I'm not sure how I want to attach it because it needs to be able to move, and it needs to be able to... I might have to... I don't know how I'm going to do that. I can't just glue it together because this piece needs to be separate from this. Normally I would just like say, oh, just put it together and tape it here. But my tape is all that glossy tape. I guess that's what I'm going to have to use, though. I don't know what else to use to fix it, so... This could turn out badly, but we're gonna go for it and see how it works. I put less tape on the front than I did on the back. And of course it's sticking up because I didn't get it to lay flat. But you need it to be able to, this to be able to move and that to be able to stay. So I think I did good with the tape. It's just not, it's not taped well. I'll just say that. Okay. Let's see what I have out. No, that's not going to work. I just need a piece that is, so I need a piece that is wide enough to go around this. So I think I'm going to use a strip of this. It does not have to be very thick. It just needs to be wide enough to go around it, which this is, obviously. And it just needs to be as thick as you want it to be. So I think I'm going to do this one. I'm going to do 1.5 inches. It doesn't really need to be that wide. Yeah, I could add some washi tape. I really wanted to get the one that was, they had Rainbow Bright one and stuff at Pip Sticks, if anybody has ever heard of that brand. They have Snoopy, they have all kinds of stuff. Snoopy, Strawberry Shortcake, Rainbow Bright, Care Bears. But I never ordered from them. So this gets put around this. It does not get glued to this. Don't make that mistake. So this gets put together around this. And I don't know why, but this is not even. So I'm just going to tape this since I have my tape out. And I want to make sure I get this as close to the edge as I can, simply because I want it to be wider than my paper, like you saw in the other one. So I just want to get it as close to this edge as I can. And since I have it open, I am going to tape the inside of it as well. You don't have to do this. If yours is long enough, like the piece that I used on the other one, well, that went wonky. That was not what my intention was. This better still fit. Nope, it's not going to fit. Or it's going to be very, very tight. It's going to be very, very tight. Okay. So, you need a piece to go around this back piece. You do not glue it to the back piece. It has to be able to move. You glue it to your back piece on this. And that is where my mistake is. You can see I glued it somewhat to something and I messed up. You glue this piece to this. And then you're able to move it with this piece. So and then you glue this piece into your journal where you want to put it. So I'm going to put my glue, tape, whatever you decide to use. I think I'm going to use my quick dried tacky glue because I don't want to use that Beacon 3-in-1. And this works pretty well. I could have used my art glitter glue. Use whatever you have that you want to use. So I'm going to just put this wherever you want. You just need to make sure it's far enough up to where it actually attaches to this back piece. And just the back piece. Don't have it attached to anything else. So I am lifting this up so that I can press down on it. And I see that glue that just attached it to this. I don't want that. So I'm wiping my excess glue off of this cardstock. I don't want it on there, and I don't want it on there. I just want it on the purple. So I had too much glue. But now you can see that once you glue it in place, this piece is going to be solid in the book, and then you will be able to move those around. So let me wipe the excess glue off that. And I might have to trim this. I think I am going to have to trim this piece. So, because it's too tall for the journal. So I'm just going to get my paper trimmer out, and we're gonna cut this down to 8 and 8.5-ish, 8.25-ish maybe, somewhere between there. I don't want to cut too much off. And yes, this is chipboard, and I should have done my other cutter, not the one I just did. Wasn't thinking about that. Okay. So So I am just gonna, so see, that's why I made sure that this was far enough up. Now I'm just going to come back in, see if I can hold that down so that I can try and round the corners. And my waterfall is not straight by any means, you guys, because I'm not a straight person. It's very crooked. So we don't have to put this in the strawberry. I was going to say, we don't have to put this in the strawberry shortcake one. I was going to say, we don't have to put this in the rainbow bright one if we don't want to. But we could. But we don't have to. I'm trying to see if I put anything else in any of the other ones. I think I basically have just stuck to, this is strawberry shortcake. This is Care Bears. This is... I don't know why I didn't make that a pocket. If this wasn't going to cover that whole image, I'd put that there. Let's see. Pockets. I don't mind covering the writing pages, but if I can find one that doesn't have, like this one, you can attach it to this. I'll just put it on this page. And I have something actually to put around the edges of it so that it looks nice and finished on the page. It doesn't just look like, oh, we put that on there, ta-da, it's done. I think I'm going to use that tacky glue again, though. You only glue this part. I almost messed it up again because I was like, oh, I need to glue the whole thing. No, you just need to glue this part. Well, in an hour, we have redone the whole cover of this book, basically, and I will get the image out to put on there. We finished our waterfall that I had worked on forever ago. And let's see if I can find what I'm talking about. No, is that it? Yes, it is. To decorate the edge of the page, I have punched out a bunch of stars out of colored paper. So now this thing should be in here and we can move it. But these are my stars. And I'm definitely not using that glue for this. I will use the my art glitter glue because it's a fine tip. And I will grab tweezers and we will just put all kinds of random colored stars because they're the star kids. Then we'll put it around the border. So I'm going to open all of them. We've got white, we've got indigo, we got violet. So I tried to do the colors of the kids. So then we've got red, orange, yellow. She's supposed to be canary yellow, but that's the yellow I had. So that's the yellow she is. And then the same thing with the blue. The blue guy is more of this color, but that's the paper I had. So that's how we're rolling. We're gonna put some stuff. We're just gonna, no, I don't need two of them. So it took me a while to do these, but I would punch out a whole row of one color sheet and then I would just keep going. It took me a while, but I learned how to do it. So I just put a tiny dot of the art glitter glue and then I'm just going to put my star down. And let's get an indigo. So indigo comes before violet, but indigo is actually darker than violet. But these are the color kids, and they make their colors by mining stars that are these colors. So we have Red Butler, who's red. We have Lala Orange. We have Canary Yellow. This is kind of a brighter orange than what I needed, but I used what I had. So Canary Yellow, we have Patio Green. She's Irish. I don't know, I made that up. She could be though. Then we have Buddy Blue, we have Indigo, and we have Shy Violet. It's weird how some of them have 2 and 3 names, and Indigo is just Indigo. She has no other name. She's just Indigo. Kind of like He's Just Ken. I still have not watched that movie. I probably should. I'm sure it's a really good movie. And I love Margot Robbie. I loved her ever since Suicide Squad. Let's see. Last one is Shy Violet. I probably should have spaced these out better to where Violet wasn't next to Indigo, but my bad. So let's try doing the other side. Obviously, they're not as small as they could be, so I can't like put a ton of them. But I can put like a row of each on each side. But I'm sorry if y'all hear my phone going off. Apparently Messenger, somebody's going crazy in Messenger right now that I don't have muted. Some of them I do. Some of them I don't. If they're talking a lot in a group chat, then I might mute the chat. Because let's put her down here this time. Let's see. Let's do blue. Blue. Let's do violet. Violet. And the punch that I used for these was from Hobby Lobby, I think. I do have a set that I got from Amazon, but the ones from Amazon are tiny. And I will show you what I mean by tiny in a second, because some of them I think are in this set. I have punched some of them out. And they're in one of these containers in that. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. What do y'all think? We have the color kids on the papers with their names. I stamped those out on a live one time. And I put a sticker of each of them with their sprite. So this is Red Butler. See if I can get this to move. This is Lala Orange and her twink. So Red Butler and Romeo, that's his twink. Or his sprite, not twink. Twink is the name of Rainbow Sprite. Lala Orange and Mango, that's her sprite. Canary Yellow and Spark, that's her sprite. Patio Green and Lucky, that's hers. Buddy Blue and Champ, I know y'all can't really read that, but it's there. Indigo and Hammy. And Shy Violet and IQ. And then we put the stars all around. I didn't do the white one because the white one is more of rainbows. But let's see. I don't know if any of the ones in here are. I don't think they are. I will grab some of the other ones though, because I know there are. What did I do? I don't know what I did. Red, orange. Okay, I think that's how it was. They're 5 in each. Thanks, Liz. Okay, I think this one was this. Yep, that's how it was. Okay. I have a little OCD, so if they're not in the right order, it drives me nuts. And these containers came with that case. And I think that case came from Hobby Lobby. And if not, I don't know where it came from. but I think it came from Hobby Lobby because I get a lot of these containers from Hobby Lobby. But I really like them. Okay, I will show you guys some of the cutouts that are from the other set that I have. I have butterflies that are tiny. These tiny little butterflies. I mean, they're minuscule. Some of them came out of that punch, and some of them I think I had another punch, but they are tiny. And I know there it is. That one's not from that kit. I have 4-leaf clovers that were from there. They're tiny. That's what the 4-leaf clover is. So I think these were from the one from Hobby Lobby or Michael's. These ones that I'm showing you now are from the little tiny ones. And they have a candy one, so I cut out a bunch of them in a bunch of different colors for a shaker. I did a crown and a moon. I have blue moons. They're little blue moons. So I love this container because it keeps me organized with these. So I have them cut out when I want to do stuff like this. Well, I used a punch, but the little punches from Amazon, they take a lot of effort compared to the ones that are like, the good ones from Michael's or Hobby Lobby, or even Walmart ones are better than those, but sometimes they don't have what you want. So you make do with what you have. So I don't want to bend it too much and like break it. But I did not leave enough allowance. So, and this is the tag I was working on the other day in a live on that tag event. And this is a card that I had done, and I used all the different colored buttons on it. But I do know that my other piece of paper that had that logo on it that said made in the 80s is in this folder, or in this, it's in here somewhere because I saw it the other day. It's in here. It's actually a sticker. It is a sticker. I made it on sticker paper. So I am gonna fussy cut it a little bit. I don't really like it being this big. So I'm gonna fussy cut it. And since it's not paper, it's sticker paper. I mean, it is paper, but it's sticker paper. I'm not using my Tim Holtz scissors on this. You're just gonna use my scissors that I use with tape that I keep on my desk. I'm not going down in there too far because I don't want to have to go that far down by the around the I don't know what those things are. I'm gonna call them antenna that are on the top of the sprite's head. And my mom does. So Hallmark is the one that made Rainbow Bright. For those of you that don't know, she's trademarked by Hallmark Incorporated. I have an ornament that is Rainbow Bright, and she's on Starlight, which is her horse, her flying horse. And my mom is, and I think Twink might be with her too. And my mom was like, I don't want to put this on the Christmas tree. I don't like it. I'm like, but it's mine, and it's my stuff. She said the same thing about my ornament that's Jem and from Jem and the Hologram. She doesn't like that one, and she doesn't like my Batman from the '60s. And I'm like, but those are me. That's literally my childhood right there that you're making fun of almost. So this is the sticker. Hey, Miss Mary Lou. We are working on fixing this journal that I ripped apart that I did not put back together well because I did not leave myself enough space. I'm trying to find the patch that I had. Excuse me. that I took off of the spine the other day. I don't know where I put it. I mean, I just took it off the spine the other day, and you would think it would be right here because this is where the journal covers were. I don't see it. It was a cute star. I don't know where I put it. Because I was going to put this either higher or lower depending on where the patch would go. I don't see it. I could have sworn I put it in here the other day. Ugh. Sinuses suck. I do not like this. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them semi-ham. I don't know where the patch went. I do have other ones, but I mean, I had one that was just a star. And I was thinking, oh, I could either put this up higher. I might actually just put it up higher. It was in the middle before, but I might actually put it either up higher. What do y'all think? Higher? Well, that fell off. Should I put it up higher or should I put it down lower to leave some space to maybe decorate the cover if I don't find that star? I don't know where it would have gone though. Seems like it should be like right there. And I don't see it in here. I don't know why it's not in here. I don't know why these are in here though. They're just extra pieces of paper. I also have Care Bear pins. I have Grumpy Bear. Mary Lou says low. Hey, Gwen. Glenn says low. Carla says low. Okay. We'll put it at the bottom. That way we can have room. And if I find the star one, I will put it on there. If not, I might put the Care Bear one, the Care Bear up there. I don't know. I really wanted to put the star. I even went through all the trouble of like peeling off all of the gooey stuff off the back of it because it had gooey stuff. Let me make sure. I don't think I put it in here, but nope, it's not in here. I don't know where it went. But yeah, we'll put this down here. And it's just a sticker. I'm just gonna grab my pokey tool so y'all can kind of see how it says it has words on the back. That's how I know it was sticker paper, because I didn't know if it was or not the other day when I found it. And me, Miss Gwen, a pokey tool. And Mary Lou, I have not forgotten about yours. In fact, if you want me to make yours right now, I can. It's in a container right behind me. I just haven't put it together yet. Miss Carla bought one from me. She has a pokey tool that is purples. Purples and pinks, I think. I should have taken a picture of it when I made it. I don't take pictures of things. I always forget about that part. So now we've got that on there. This is the container I'm looking for. Yes, it is. This is the stuff that I was making for Mary Lou, and I worked on it before I left to go to Florida, and I hadn't finished it yet. And Mary Lou is getting this. It's one of those tools for picking up beads. And she's getting 2 pokey tools because I'm being generous. And I love Mary Lou. And I couldn't decide which bead to give her, and I didn't want to put 2 on one, so. These are the beads that I pulled out from Mary Lou. She has this one that says, Jesus, take the wheel before I run somebody over. And Mary Lou is cowboy, and blue is her favorite color. So I kind of went with the blues and the greens. So this blue, I think this aqua one was for the other one. I'm going to take these out here because I can't see them in the container. Where did I put my little diamond things? Aha, I see one. That cover is screaming my childhood. Yes, it does. So I have all of these, and I do have other beads in here still. All of my beads are in here, so if I change my mind about any of this stuff, I might go grab something out of that. So let's put this pretty blue bead. So it's got a candy bead up at the top. Got a blue, that blue one. It has that blue one. Let's see if this one works. Sometimes, okay. Sometimes there's too big of a gap. And sometimes I don't like that. So I'm not going to put that there. I am going to put the gummy bear though, because the gummy bear is adorable. So I've got a gummy bear. Let's see. I think I was doing this for this. Let's see. This blue one. I don't want to put too many beads on this, but I love Mary Lou. So, and I like to lay them out. If you've ever watched me, I like to lay them out so that I can see what they look like before I glue anything together. In case I need to change something doesn't look right, or, you know, I just think it needs help. And these green things go on the end so that you don't poke yourself, because these are very, very, very sharp. Let me reiterate, these are very, very, very sharp. And I do not want anybody poking themselves with them taking them out of the packaging. So, yeah. These are all my really big ones, aren't they? Yes, they are. I wanted to get a different one for this one. I don't want to use this many of these silicone beads because I don't like them. So let me grab my container. And you can tell me if you don't like some of these beads, Mary Lou. I am not opposed to changing things. It does not upset me if somebody doesn't like a bead that I put on something. So let's see what is in here that I could use instead. Those. I might trade that silicone bead out for a shiny one. I might trade this one out for this. I'll just throw that back in there because Mary Lou deserves pretty beads. So let's see. We did the blue up at the top. This one has green up at the top, I think. Yeah, this one has a green one. So let's put this teal one, because there's teal in the focal bead. We've got the teal one. I try to do the bigger one up at the top, so when you're trying to use it, the big one is not closer to the bottom. So let's put the, do I want to put that up at the top, or do I want to put this? I think I was having an issue with the bead because there's too much of a space. We're going to put this here. Then we can put this silicone bead here. That's another thing. I don't like putting silicone beads next to one another because I've had issues with them not staying glued together well. So I try not to do that. So we'll do a gummy bear. I think I like the blue one. I took the green one out, but I think this green is too green compared to these beads. I don't know. What do y'all think? Or can y'all even tell that that's green from afar? Let's do. You know what? Let's put the Jesus Take the Wheel up higher because it's wider than the boots. So we'll put that up higher. We'll put the green bead. Put the gummy bear. And then we'll put that last one. That is this is a spacer bead, but we're just having it as a thing that the bear can sit on. So what do you think of those, Mary Lou? You like them? You hate them? Should I take any of the beads off? Do you want a different color? Do you want a sparklier bead on this one? I think I have a blue one in here I could use instead of that one. Or I could put white. I know I have white ones. I have a blue one, though, I could put on there. It's sparkly. Let's do that. I'm sure y'all are all like, wow, she can't make up her mind. And you would be right. But that's the whole point of doing this. Is to see how things look. I think this one looks okay. Unless Mary Lou hates one of the beads, which, like I said, I can take them apart. Let's put this one here. The one good thing about these is that a lot of stuff fits on them because they're narrower than most of the other stuff that I use. Let's change this and put this here. And put this. And the gummy bear. Gummy bears. Do you have bow beads for the boots? I have this one. I'm not sure how it's going to look. Let me see how it looks. I do have bow beads, obviously. I have them in all kinds of colors, but I know Mary Lou's favorite color is blue, so she has everything in blue. I'm just not loving the space in this. Let me see if I can find... trying to think of what I have. I don't really want to put another candy bead, but the candy beads, so I'll show you what I'm talking about. There's space in between them, and I don't like it. But if you put it up against like the candy bead, they're it like fits up against something that's smaller. There's just so much space in between. I'm trying to find something that's smaller. I wonder if it'll fit. Okay. Yeah, it's not gonna fit with the bear either. Let me see what I have that's smaller in here. I have smaller beads that are the silicone ones. They're just not all in here. Let's see. Sometimes these fit, sometimes they don't. This one will probably fit. We'll try one of those. Oh, do I have brown? I read that as bow. I have some brown silicone beads. Like I said, they're just not in here. I do have some, I think that came with the bow. Let's see. I'm trying to see what other color is in here that would look good with that, but I don't think any of these look good with that. Spacer beads are so... That one's kind of amberish. I have owls. Teal is your jam. So then that means you really like this one because it's got teal on it. Okay. I am going to try to do this on this. Let's see. And see if it'll fit on top of the bear. It's still going to leave space. Okay. Let's see if I can do this one underneath as a spacer in between the boots. Okay. We're going back to work with this. Well, do you want me to make this one more teal? Because I can. I just know blue is your favorite color, so I went with the big blue bead. But I have I can show you some of the other ones I have that are teal. The big ones, instead of using that blue one. Let me close that. I just don't have my silicone beads in here. They're in another container, and I didn't bring them in here. But I do have... I have a ton of the bubblegum beads that are like green or teal. I have like this polka dot one that's like a light teal, or I have like actual teal ones that are like this color, or this one with like the blue and silver, or I have the lighter blue instead of the darker blue. We could do the lighter blue instead of the darker blue. Yes, I separated my beads. Let's see if how that one looks. Let's see. That one, this one. Let's see, where the little ones. I'm worried the little ones might not fit. Sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't like me. That. Where's the other one? Please fit, please fit, please fit. Yes. And then we have the boot. Boot. The boot. It's all about that boot. It's all about that boot. About that boot. Let's see. Want to do that one? No. Want to do the gummy bear. Gummy bear. Bouncing here and there and everywhere. Let's see. What other colors did I have in this bead? I don't think I have a teal one. I think this is the closest to the teal that I have for this. Yeah, the other ones are green. We'll use this one. Oh, Lord, Miss Carla, go eat. Got this blue one, a sparkly, and then this blue one that is not sparkly. I think that's too big at the bottom. I don't want it to go up too high. And I will make sure they're all straight, you guys. Hey, Melissa. Yeah, I worked on my journal. Now I'm working on Mary Lou's Pokey Tools so I can get them out. I also have a couple pens I need to work on, but the pens are not in here. How do you like this one, Mary Lou, with the boot? The boot. I'm kind of liking how it looks. Now that we've changed a couple of things. I actually have some teal beads in here too. I could have used those around the little bow. I don't know what they came with, but they're little teal colored beads. I don't know what they came with. They came with something because I don't have a ton of them, which means they were on something. Let's use those. We're going to take this apart. We have to take it apart anyway to glue it. So let's change out the two beads that are around the bow for the two teal ones. See how that looks. So we'll do a teal one if it fits, because it may not fit. Sometimes these beads are wonky. It should fit, but it does not fit. And it's weird because it fits, but it doesn't. Okay, well, we're just going to use the beads that we had on here because we know they fit. So, sorry. I tried. Okay, so that's what we'll do. Put this back together. Grab my glue. E7000, where are you hiding? There it is. Found it. I bought a bunch of these small ones because I don't use them as often as I should. And I'm just throwing extra beads that I'm not using in there. So I can put the ones that I am using in here and they're not rolling all over this table. So I'll do this one first. So it was this, then it was these two beads and the bow. Then it was our silicone bead. I think it was our silicone bead, that bead, and the gummy bear was at the bottom. Is that right? Was that how I had it? I can never remember. Well, I know that this one's staying where it is, so definitely can glue this one in. So one of the things that I do when I glue mine together, I put glue everywhere, you guys. So I'll run glue up and down the bead, up and down the needle where the bead is going. And then I take my glue and I squeeze the heck out of it and fill up the hole that is in the bead with glue until I see it oozing out of the top of the bead. And then I'll put bead glue here. And then we will take our next bead and put that on here. And that one doesn't need more in the middle because it's not open very big. And then we'll do this one, and this one will probably need some glue in the middle because it has a wide opening with the bow. Okay, I was just making sure I had that on the correct way, that it wasn't upside down. So this one has a wide opening. So I just go in here and fill it up with glue. I don't want my beads falling off or like any of that goodness. I don't want my pokey tools falling apart. So then we're going to put the other little ball underneath it to hold it in place so that it stays upright. And then we're going to put our silicone bead on here, which doesn't have a huge opening, but I want to make sure I have enough of the glue running up and down the needle. It's just got a normal size opening. It does have a little bit of an opening up here though, so I am squeezing glue in there. Just to make sure. Pokey tools are amazing, aren't they? That we're going to do the sparkly bead under the boot. Sparkly bead. The next two beads have wide openings, so I do know that they're going to need glue. So I think this was the next one I had on here. And pony beads have huge openings for anybody that doesn't know, or anybody that's never fooled with a pony bead. I forgot, I need to get my pony beads out of my drawer. I have a bunch of pony beads that I put in my craft stuff that I don't really use for crafting. Like, I never really use them for anything in here. And then we have our gummy bear. And the gummy bears have long holes, have wide holes. And they were from the Dollar Tree a while back. The little gummy bear beads. I wish I had bought more of them. I just bought them because they were cute. I wasn't even doing anything with beads back then. I just bought them because I like gummy bears. Okay. I want to make sure my gummy bear is facing the correct direction. And then I'm just going to lay this on my tray to let it all set in place. And the gummy bear, you need to not turn. Okay. Well, you're going in the middle then, because you don't need to be turning. You need to be staying in place. Okay, now we can glue this one together. So like I said, silicone beads, they do not glue well to each other, which is why I tend to not put them next to each other. Ask me how I know. I have silicone beads on mine, and they move. They don't stay together well. On mine, at least. I don't know if anybody else that's ever made pokey tools has issues with that, but I do. So we're going down with the teal. And then our big bubblegum bead. Yes, that's what those beads are called. They're called bubblegum beads because they're the size of a giant gumball. And then we're putting Jesus Take the Wheel. And this is actually the bead that I have on my, I think that's on my tool that picks things up. It's my picky uppy tool. I have the same bead on it. I want to make myself something with the Golden Girls one. I just haven't done it yet. I made a Golden Girls one for Yachty a while back. I don't know if it's on her. I don't think it's on her pokey tool. I think I made her a keychain or something with that. Because I think I made her like a Disney one for her pokey tool. Because she has her apron that Gabby gave her. It has Winnie the Pooh on it. I think I did it. I think I did a Winnie the Pooh bead or something because I have Winnie the Pooh beads. Hey, Miss Trudy. I am making some pokey tools from Miss Mary Lou from Loving Your Home Space. You love you some Golden Girls too? That was one of the shows I used to watch with my grandma when I was a kid because I went over to my grandparents' house all the time on the weekend. It's funny to think how back in the 80s / early 90s, like the weekends were when kids, like parents and stuff, like they had TV shows that were actually good. Sorry, guys. My phone died. That never happened before. But yeah, the phone died. So this is Mary Lou's picky up tool, her diamond art tool that she's getting, and I just finished her pokey tools. I was saying that I'm just gonna let them dry all weekend, so I'm probably not gonna figure out the cost of shipping until Monday. But yeah, so I will message Mary Lou on Monday and let her know about that. And if anybody needs a pokey tool, this is what the pokey tools are made out of. They're made out of, I think, 6-inch needles. They're upholstery needles, so they're heavy duty. Nope, they're like 7-inch. This is my ruler, and it's like more than that. So I think they're like 7 inches. But they're very sharp. So I bought these green tips to put on them because needles don't come with those when you order them from Amazon. But if anybody wants a pokey tool or a seam ripper, I'll show you guys what I have. So I was saying that my bead is on my picky uppy tool. This is mine. It says, Jesus, take the wheel before I run somebody over. And of course, you know, it's all greens, mint greens, because my favorite color. And then I do have some seam rippers left. I think I have 2 or 3 of them left. I only got one set, and I think there were like 5 of them in there. But this is He-Eyed Booger. And he is my seam ripper that I did. Of course, there's a gummy bear in there underneath Tigger, because why not? I think I have 2 of the seam rippers left. I also have some bottle openers that I never did anything with. The silicone beads are one of the only things that fit on those because they're really wide. The bow bead would probably fit on there because it's got a wide mouth. The gummy bear would probably fit on there, and there's one other one that I was like, oh, that's got a wide mouth that would probably fit on there. Oh, some of the spacer beads. You need a Golden Girl something? Well, message me. I have a bunch of them. They say it's the 4 heads. I mean, it's not clearly them, but it's like caricatures of them. And it says stay golden on them, on the beads. Or I have ones that are characters and they're the actual women. I don't remember which ones I have, though. Because I love me some Sophia. Picture it. Sicily, 1922. I just love her. Well, since my phone died and it's almost 9 o'clock, I'm gonna hop off and, like I said, I'm gonna let my the jewels sit. I'm live again on Sunday in Yachty's fake bake event, so your girl needs to clear a path to get to her clay so I can do something on Sunday. But yeah, and I'm gonna try and find my my star to put on the front of my journal. I need to do a Golden Girls journal, but that's not in the works quite yet. But it's probably going to be because that show was the best show ever back in the late 80s, early 90s. But yeah, so I'm gonna go and I will see you guys hopefully Sunday if you come check out the fake bake event. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing because I've never done a fake bake in my life on a live. Okay, I did do a fake bake, but it wasn't on a live. I did popcorn for our circus event last year, but I only did a few of those. I don't know what I'm gonna do Sunday, but we'll find out together. I'll see you guys then. Bye, guys.